I saw the movie Doctor Sleep. Doctor Sleep was originally released back on November 8, 2019. This movie is based off the novel by Stephen King, and it is a sequel to The Shining. Doctor Sleep is directed by Mike Flanagan. It stars Ewan McGregor, Rebecca Ferguson, and Kaylee Curran. My rating for Doctor Sleep is a 3 out of 5, and here's why. Doctor Sleep continues the story after the events of The Shining, where we see an older Danny Torrance being tormented by the events of what happened to him as a child. He would also encounter people similar to him with these special shining powers. The movie is just good. The movie expands the lore of The Shining. It explores that there are other people in the world that are able to shine like Danny Torrance. This movie doesn't rely on you seeing The Shining, as throughout the story it does incorporate parts and scenes from The Shining to where it relates to a scene in the now during Doctor Sleep. This movie is not The Shining. For what it is more of a thriller with horror elements. I find the movie's foreshadowing a bit too much. It was obvious to telegraph what the story was going to do in the last act of the film. And there are some story elements in this movie that felt a little too convenient to move the story along. There are some parts of this movie that were actually really good. There are these horrific scenes in the movie that really played an impact when I watched them on screen, as well as showing off these shining powers. It's not just one thing they are able to do. It's kind of comic bookish in a way, kind of like with mutants, where each could harness a different shining power. Other than the story, the directing of the movie was done well. A lot of the CG and practical effects were done well as well. And I do enjoy the uniqueness and the imagination put forth into the story to build on the Shining lore. In the directing, there were a lot of tributes to how Kubrick shot The Shining with a lot of these wide-angled shots, as well as in the movie. I mean, with the flashbacks to The Shining, that we get a lot of those kind of tributes as well. The acting from all the actors was good for the most part of the movie. Some of the co-stars and underlying characters, their acting was a bit too much for me at times, but they still did well in their performances of their characters. With Doctor Sleep, if you haven't seen it yet, you have to go in thinking that this is a thriller movie and not an entirely horror genre movie, because this is different in comparison to The Shining. The movie overall was mediocre to me. Like I said, just good. Nothing too memorable to take out from Doctor Sleep. Whereas there's a lot of memorable moments with The Shining. That is my review of Doctor Sleep. Please give this video a like. Subscribe to the Spill Go YouTube channel to check out more of my reviews. And as always, thank you for watching.